bad at all. Sometimes it's a lot easier to hear things than it is to retell them. We're going to get a little more complex and see how well you do. Some of us are percussionists and some of us aren't.
You're sitting next to him. Bill's actually a drummer.
Yeah, I think we may have some percussionists in the group. Well, thank you very much. Our subject today is L is for leadership. When we talk about leadership, we have a lot of subject matter that covers. So I'm going to narrow this down to just 3 tools, 3 ideas, and 3 examples. And I'm going to start off by reminding us that the leader's responsibility is really, quite frankly, to lead. So who is a leader? Anyone who takes responsibility for action is the leader. You don't have to have a title to be the leader. What you have to have is you have to have the right attitude. I want to share with you a point. Whenever I start to hang my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of the race. A children's race, young boys, young men. How I remember well. Excitement, sure, but also fear. It wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up so full of hope. Each thought to win the race, or tie for first, or if not that, at least take second place. Their parents watched from off the side, each cheering for their son. Each boy hoped to show his folks that he would be the one. The whistle blew and off they flew, like chariots of fire. To win, to be the hero there, was each boy's desire. One boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running in the lead and thought, my dad will be so proud. But as he sped down the field and across the shallow dip, the little boy who thought he'd win lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his arms flew every place. But amidst the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. As he fell, his hopes fell too. He couldn't win it now. Humiliated, he just wished to disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, get up and finish that race. He quickly rose, no damage done, behind a bit, that's all, and ran with all his mind and might to make up for this fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up and to win, his mind went faster than his legs. He slipped and fell again. He wished that he could quit before any more disgrace. I am hopeless as a runner now. I shouldn't try to race. But through the laughing crowd, he searched and found his father's face. A steady look that said, get up and win that race. And so he jumped up to try again, 10 yards behind. If I'm to gain those yards, he thought, I've got to run really fast. Exceeding everything he had, he regained 8, then 10. By trying hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell again. Defeated, he lay there silent. A tear dropped from his eyes. There's no sense running anymore. 3 strikes, I'm out. Why try? I've lost, so what's the use? He thought as I've lived through my disgrace. But then he thought about his dad, who would soon he would have to face. Get up, an echo shouted. You haven't lost at all. For all you have to do to win the race is rise each time you fall. Get up, the echo urged him on. Get up and take your place. You're not meant for failure here. Get up and win that race. And so he rose to run once more, refusing to forfeit, and he resolved that win or lose, he wouldn't quit. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been. Still gave it all and had and ran like he could win. 3 times he'd fallen, stumbling. 3 times he rose again. Too far behind to hope to win, he still ran to the very end. They cheered another boy who crossed the line first and won first place. His head held high and proud and happy. No failing, no disgrace. But when the fallen youngster crossed the line in last place, the crowd gave him the greater cheer, for he had finished the race. And even though he came in last, his head bowed low, unproud, you would have thought he'd won the race to listen to the crowd. And to his dad, he said sadly, "I didn't do so well." "To me you won," his father said. "You rose. It's time you fell." And now when things get dark and bleak and difficult to face, the memory of that little boy helps me in my own race. For all of life is like that race, with ups and downs, and all you have to do is win. To win is rise each time you fall. And when desperation and despair shout loud in your face, another voice within you says, "Get up and win that race."